Part of your daily learning coach responsibilities is to record attendance for your student. Now, you'll be recording anything that occurs outside of the regular live Class Connect sessions that are teacher led. When you log into your Learning Coach account, you will see that you have an attendance tab here on the left side of the screen, and it will indicate with a number right here beside that how many days of attendance it is that you need to enter. So let's take a look at this student, Brittany. Brittany had two classes today that were required. She had English and science. And you can see here the English lasted 1 hour and science lasted 45 minutes. So there's an hour of 45 minutes of live class sessions today that Brittany already has recorded in our system. So in order for me to record attendance for her and meet the Indiana requirement, I need to log some additional time to make sure that she reaches the 5.5 hours required for middle school. If she were a high school student, it would be 6 hours of required time per day. So I'm going to return to the Learning Coach account, and I'm going to go to this attendance area so that I can enter Brittany's attendance. Now, Brittany already had an hour and 45 minutes of live class sessions today. So I know that in order to get her to 5.5 hours of attendance, I need to enter about 4 more hours. That'll make sure that she has plenty of room there to make sure she hits that 5.5. So let's go back and talk to Brittany. Well, Brittany says that she spent half an hour today in Ascend and half an hour doing math homework as well. So that gives her an additional 60 minutes in math class today. Then Brittany went to Mind Play and did her 30 minutes for the day and worked on some other English homework too. So she did another 60 minutes in English as well. After science class, her science teacher assigned her some things that she needed to go read for science class. So Brittany spent an additional hour working on science today in the content area and going through the lesson materials. Now that gives Brittany an additional 3 hours, but the problem is that we need 4. So where can we put those in? Well, Brittany tells me she didn't have any social studies homework today. And this middle school explorations class and the online learning class are not classes that meet on a daily basis. So that's not going to give her any extra time either. So in order to come up with that additional time, Brittany's going to need to put in some exercise for her PE class. So we're going to make sure that Brittany exercises for an additional hour. That will take her to a total of 4 hours of attendance for the day. So with these 4 hours, plus the hour and 45 minutes that Brittany spent in live classes today, we now know that she has her 5.5 hour attendance requirement met. So let's review. At the end of each day, my job as a learning coach is to go in and make sure that I have logged any time my student spends in the online learning system, that they are not in a live Class Connect. So if they're just in the learning system doing homework, doing quizzes, working on an assessment, or just reading through the content, that time is not logged by the school system. So I have to go back and add that to the learning coach log. In addition to that, I want to go back and log anything that my student did outside of the school system or even off of the computer altogether to make sure that my student reaches that attendance requirement for the day. Offline attendance might include things like reading a book for class. Your English teacher assigns you a novel to read and you spend an hour reading that as part of your homework, then you can log that in the Learning Coach log under offline time for English class. Exercise for PE class would also be something that the Learning Coach would log at the end of the day. If I had an appointment and it caused me to miss a class, then I'm expected to go back and watch the recording. But because that recording is not a live session anymore, then my learning coach is going to have to log the time that I spent watching that recording as well. If I'm doing research for a project or paper for a class, then that time would be logged. And then, of course, if you attend a community event or field trip that is school sponsored, that time could be logged as well in whichever subject area you think best fits. So again, for grades 6 through 8, we're going to be recording a total of 5.5 hours per day. That's the amount of time that my students spent in live class session, plus any time that the learning coach logs for the student for doing homework, reading, exercising, any of those activities that we just went over. For high school students, the requirement is 6 hours per day. Now keep in mind, most students are doing Mind Play and Ascend each day for 30 minutes each. Mind Play is logged under English, and Ascend would be logged under Math. So that will add some time to your Learning Coach log as well. If you have questions, please contact your student's advisor, and they'll review the attendance requirements with you.